It's time for another edition of Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Bradley Meyer of the Okoboji Wellness Clinic. Good morning, Dr. Meyer.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, everybody.
Well, the good news is we continue to have success stories at Okoboji Wellness Clinic. Sharon has come all the way from South Carolina to be in your care. She's in her third week. And she, if I remember the story right, was told it was all in her head. And for the third week now, she continues to improve dramatically.
It's huge, so we've kind of video libraried this from her start to where she is now. And she's had a bunch of family and friends that have come through all different parts of the country. Her daughter is here now from Minnesota, and then her son's coming in to relieve her daughter today. And her daughter said, I got my mom back. And she had seen her about 3 to 4 weeks ago. Sharon flew into Minnesota, where her daughter lives, and has, spent a couple of days with her before coming down to the clinic here. And her daughter is absolutely flabbergasted at the progress. So Sharon is just, we kept building, and she had very delayed motor activity. A lot of times neurologic testing, we do finger testing. And again, reminder, she was in an auto accident last February, had a traumatic brain injury, and the MRI of her brain was quote unquote normal. And the doctor's neurologist just basically told her to rest. And she'd been doing that for about 7-8 months before coming to us. And we've started on our different protocols specific to her based on her lab work and all of her detailed history, and got Sharon her special protocol that included the hyperbaric therapy and major brain injury progress. She is walking around this clinic. She came in with a cane and when we do these finger testings, you a lot of times see these in the ER, or neurologists, family docs will do these. It's tapping your finger to your nose and then to the doctor's finger and back and forth. So and if you do this in kind of this delayed fashion, you can tell somebody that is the brain's firing fast, where it goes slow, that process. They go to my finger and then they go to their nose and back and forth. So if that's a slow process and I move my finger around, then that's an indication that things are inflamed, not firing right in the brain. So she walked in slow with a cane, sleeping in most days till 11 o'clock a.m., just brain fog, couldn't go out in public to restaurants, couldn't cook anymore. She used to have her catering business, loved to cook. And now she has even cooked in her Airbnb and has been able to get out to, go to Arnold's Park amusement park with her grandson. So we're talking major life-changing things for her, because she was a very active lady, very smart gal, that was like, is this going to be the rest of my life type of picture? So she is well on to getting her life back, and we talk, it's usually about a 6 to 12 month process. But with these immersions where folks come stay with us for a couple of weeks, whatever the condition may be, whether it's brain or it's gut health or it's some other kind of inflammatory condition, we tend to get where we're trying to go a little bit faster. Again, just a testament to her hard work and the great team here, what we've been able to do together and utilize these different tools and methods and approaches to give her life back, because, where she was at before was zero quality or next to zero. So awesome story. I'm so thankful she's been with us. We'll be sad to see her go, but she's promises she's going to come back, and I might just have to do a house call sometime out to South Carolina. Who knows?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Well, let's talk a little bit. We're so happy for Sharon. Let's talk a little bit about lab work, because a lot of people get lab work done, and some stuff, it's like it looks normal, and some stuff looks out of range, but it takes somebody that's pretty sharp to be looking over that lab work. Not all lab work is created equal.
Absolutely. And, I certainly look at it differently than I did 3 to 4 years ago. The standardized, the lab work that we have drawn it's based on the average for everybody, and is the values that we quote unquote put as normal optimal? And so the answer is no. So a lot of times we'll have folks again, doc, I'm feeling horrible. I got my blood work drawn, and my doc told me it's normal. And so I'm going to, then you basically, well, it's just part of aging then. Well, that's kind of, then folks just live with that, and then more and more stuff develops. I feel more and more out of whack. My vitality, I've got decreased physical stamina. My memory's not as sharp. My name recall on things isn't as good. I've got more aches and pains than I would like to have. But my lab work's quote unquote normal. And in most cases, the quote unquote normal lab work, we can look at it from a different perspective. Molly Avery is a functional lab work specialist that works at the clinic here. She is an incredible teammate and guide and resource for folks that come alongside us here. And she and I will look through that lab and find areas that are areas of imbalance in the body. So it's almost like it's clues in that blood work, and then we start down the path of finding out where are the toxins in the body, what we've been exposed to, and what's causing that lab work to get sideways. So, one example is thyroid. Many times folks will go to the doctor and they won't get their thyroid antibodies checked. That's an important part. We will check that when folks come in for lab works. That's pretty much typical part of our functional lab set. And antibodies to the thyroid, of course, thyroid is a big part of our metabolic health, our energy level, how we metabolize food, and so on and so forth. Many times that is not tested in the thyroid lab. People are tired and they're told, oh, well, your thyroid's normal. Well, we'll check the thyroid antibodies amongst many other tests and note that, oh, well, if that thyroid antibody is elevated, well, the body is attacking that thyroid gland. Then we want to know why. And so many times that gets back to the old bugger gluten, and in case sometimes the gluten mimic dairy, we can tease out whether or not those are problems that are contributing to that thyroid antibody inflammation. So then we want to remove the trigger, and then that kind of removes the gas, the gasoline that's been thrown on the fire, and we can work to bring the body back into balance. But specifically to the interesting thing with thyroid, a dovetail off on labs and thyroid health is bread today, and there's a bromine that's added to most breads today that you find on the store shelves. That's a halogen, or it's a chemical or gas, chemical noble gas that is it's very similar to iodine. And iodine we need to make our thyroid. And so if that is being displaced by bromine in bread, we already don't get enough iodine in our food sources, so most people are iodine deficient. Most people are mineral deficient, selenium deficient. So we find all these things that why is it that our thyroid is kind of given up on us, not working very well? And it can be so much from what's in our food and our diet, like a bread with bromine in it, to lack of iodine, to gluten that might be inflaming our thyroid gland. But all those things can be told through a few more tests, a few more blood tests that are going to be clues.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it's incredible. You've talked about these things. And so Lori, and I think you were the first one that actually told me about Dr. Ken Berry. And I happened to catch a live chat with him the other night where people were they were like text messaging during this live chat, lab numbers to him. And it was incredible to see him talk about this type of stuff. And you're both kind of going down about the same pathway. And he happened to be talking about vitamin D, and you've talked about vitamin D for so long now, and about how just getting out and spending 10 minutes, which is not much, 10 minutes a day outdoors, how helpful that can be to add to your vitamin D.
Yeah, that getting out and getting that vitamin D while we can here in the next few months, and soaking up that sunshine with our bare feet, doing the grounding, getting that electron transfer to reduce free radicals and inflammation in the body. Because the vitamin D, not only when you're out in that sun, you're getting some red light as well, some natural red light, especially during the hours of the dawn and dusk. So, we could go off on it's all these points of discoveries. My friend Pierre Corey right now, he put out a great post, Dr. Pierre Corey, on one of his feeds, talking about how the sun has been so vilified over the years, and almost like there's an industry that's created to vilify the sun, and then how we need to, put all this sunblock on, and what is, if the skin is a protective mechanism and it's a breathing organ. But if you don't think of it as if you don't want to ingest something, do you want to, and it's not safe to ingest, do you want to put that on your skin?
Mm-hmm.
Another really interesting thing to think about, because a lot of that then is, again, another adding to toxin loads. We just glob all that sunblock on, or even bug repellent for that matter. Think about that.
Yes.
And so there's a lot of biohacks, natural ways to go around to prevent bugs that's not deep in like this nasty stuff that is really pretty nasty chemicals in it for the body. So yeah, it's literally taken off right now. A lot of allopathic doctors that are trained traditionally are joining ranks with folks that have been more holistic in the integrative realm to say, all right, let's go here and let's really find out where the problem lies and how, and with longer appointment times, how we can get to the bottom of things and get people overall. It's finding everybody's why, and ultimately, what's your why? What do you want in life, as far as quality and from your day to day? And then a lot of times that can be limited by our health. Yeah. And so getting outside, getting in the sun, being active, physically active, all these things add up together. Our mental health. It's also interconnected that, it's really hard to get there in a quick 7-minute visit in a traditional visit with the doctor's office. So with all due respect, I feel bad because, that's the situation I used to be in for many years. It's like, how am I going to address all these problems in a 7-minute visit? It's next to impossible.
Well, and we're way out of time here. I'll tell you what, our show could be an hour long. I'm not kidding, because there's some things I want to touch on that I learned more information about this week. We've already talked about it. Statins. Would like to talk about statins with you again. We've talked about it before, but cholesterol as well. How important cholesterol is for brain health. More and more studies coming out about how important cholesterol is for brain health, and the whole world seems to be on statins. So we need to talk.
Oh my goodness. Absolutely, and I've got a great example of that. Maybe we can touch again on that next week, of somebody that their cholesterol was super, super low, and they were having major symptoms from it. So we'll talk about that coming forward. All
right, so how do people find you? How do they get visit with you?
Yeah, 712-339-6024 is our number, and we're at 3305 Berquist Avenue in Spirit Lake, right next to, off of Highway 71 across the street from Clickstar. We're happy to have you come in and take a peek, walk through the clinic, give you a tour. We've got a great team here. We love what we do. And we've got the discovery calls on Wednesday afternoons. If you're wondering, 15-minute complimentary visit with me to discuss a little bit of your history and what struggles you might be having and maybe how we can help.
Very good. Dr. Meyer, always a pleasure to visit with you. Have a great day. We'll chat again soon.
All right. Be well, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Doctor. Dr. Bradley Meyer with the Okoboji Wellness Clinic. You can find out more at okobojiwellnessclinic.com. And join us every Wednesday morning, a little after 8:06, for another edition of Wellness Wednesday with Dr. Bradley Meyer of the Okoboji Wellness Clinic.